Today we are going to take a look at simplifying some more expressions that are going to involve this time both combining like terms and distributive property. So what you did in 1.4 and what you did in 1.5 are both going to come into these problems. If you look at the first problem here, we notice that we have distribution that's happening here, but then you also have an extra term out here in this plus 10. Because 10 is not in the parenthesis, it is not a part of what we are distributing to. So when we distribute, we are going to distribute 3 to here and to here, but the 10 is going to be untouched in this first round. So when we distribute that 3, we will have 3 times 2x is going to give us 6x. And then 3 times negative 4 will give us negative 12. And then that 10 that we did not have to distribute to is going to stay plus 10 on the end of the problem for now. Now, hopefully when you look at this, you notice that some of these are like terms. So negative 12 and positive 10 are both like terms. So we can combine them and should combine them to get the most simple answer. So when we combine those, now 6x is not a like term, so it is going to be untouched. And negative 12 plus 10 will give us negative 2. So our final answer will be 6x minus 2. Moving over to example number 2, we see that we have a similar setup where we are distributing to some of the problem but not everything. So 4 is getting distributed to here and over to here. So this 7k is going to stay the same, at least for the first step of this problem. 4 times 2k is going to give us positive 8k. And then when we distribute 4 times 5, we are going to have positive 20. So now as we look at what we have here, hopefully you notice that some of these are like terms. So this time we have like terms here in 7k and positive 8k. So when we combine those together, 7k plus 8k is going to give us 15k. And then we will have our plus 20, which is not a part of our like terms from the prior step. So this is your answer. Moving on to example number 3, we have again a very similar setup where we are going to be distributing within part of the problem. So we're distributing to here and to here. So this negative 13 that we see at the beginning is not a part of what we are distributing to. But then we have 3 times negative 6, so that will give us negative 18. And then 3 times negative 3m will give us negative 9m. So as we look at the expression that we have now created, we can see that we do have some like terms. So negative 13 and negative 18. Those are both constant terms or terms that do not have a variable, which makes them like terms. So we can put them together. Negative 13 minus 18, or negative 13 plus a negative 18, would give us negative 31. So our final answer would be negative 31 minus 9m. Moving over to example number 4. On example number 4, again, hopefully you notice that the setup is looking very similar from problem to problem. So we are going to distribute negative 5 to here and here. So when we do that, negative 5 times t gives us negative 5t. And negative 5 times negative 7 gives us positive 35. And then we have that plus 9t on the end, which was not a part of what we were distributing to. So as we look at the expression that we have now, hopefully you notice that you have like terms in negative 5t and positive 9t, so we should combine those together. Negative 5t plus 9t is going to give you positive 4t. And then we have this plus 35. So 4t plus 35 is your final answer. Here we need to pay a little more attention to what we are doing, so we need to be careful of signs here. If you notice, we see a 21 minus 6, but if you remember from the first couple lessons, when we have a minus sign, this is actually plus a negative. So really what we are distributing here is a negative 6 to this negative 3, and then also to this 4p. So when we distribute, the 21 is not a part of what we are distributing to. Negative 6 times negative 3 is going to give you positive 18. And then negative 6 times positive 4p is going to give us negative 24p. So you have to be careful of those signs as you distribute. So if we look at what we have now, we notice again that we have some like terms. So positive 21 and positive 18 would be like terms. So 21 plus 18 gives us 39. So we will have 39 minus 24p, which would be your final answer. In example number 6, we are going to have a similar situation. Again, we see a subtraction sign, which means that this is going to become plus a negative 10p, or negative 10, I'm sorry. So negative 10 is what we are distributing to here and to here. The negative 7w is not a part of what we are distributing. Negative 10 times positive 1 would give us negative 10. And then negative 10 times w would give us negative 10w. So we do have like terms occurring here again. So negative 7w and negative 10w are like terms. When we combine those together, negative 7w minus 10w is going to give us negative 17w. And then we have minus 10. All right, last set of examples here, so 2 more. On this one, you have more going on, but still you need to notice right away that you have some distribution. That's what you need to be taking care of first. So we are going to start here on this one, even though there are more terms, with distributing this 2. So the 16 in the beginning is not a part of the distribution, so that'll stay 16. 2 times 2x is going to give us positive 4x. And then we have 2 times 6, which is going to give us a positive 12. And then we have this minus 8x on the end, which is going to stay the same because it was not a part of the distribution. So as we look at this expression that we've created, we do have some like terms in here. So positive 16 would be a like term with positive 12. And then 4x would be a like term with negative 8x. So I can now combine these things that are like terms. 16 plus 12 is going to give us 28. 4x minus 8x is going to give us negative 4x. So 28 minus 4x is going to be your final answer. Jumping over to number 8, which is our last one for today. Again, you hopefully notice that you have some distribution. We are working with a case where maybe we need to make a sign change here to make sure we distribute the right thing. So we're going to change this to plus a negative 3. So we are distributing negative 3 to here and to here. So we will have the D that we started with. Negative 3 times D is going to give us negative 3D. Negative 3 times negative 8 is going to give us plus 24. And then we have 2 more D's on the end. So plus D and plus D. So when you look at this, hopefully you notice that you have several terms here that all classify as like terms. So we have D, negative 3D, another D, and one more D here. And each of these that are just D by themselves, remember they technically have a 1 on the front of them. So they have a coefficient of 1. So we have a 1 here, a 1 here, and a 1 here. So I'm going to combine these in steps. You may not require as many steps, but I want to make sure everybody's okay. So if I combine these two first, 1D minus 3D is going to give me negative 2D. I still have my plus 24. And then on the end, I have 1D plus 1D, which would give me positive 2D. So I still have some terms that would be considered like terms. So now this piece in my simplified expression is going to combine with this piece down here. Negative 2D plus 2D is going to give me 0D. So I have 0D plus 24. So 0D means 0 times D. 0 times anything is 0. So this is technically not going to have a variable in it at all. That piece will become 0 plus 24. And 0 plus 24 is 24. So in this case, even though the initial problem was complicated, it simplifies to be just a number. We will work on this more in class tomorrow.